back to the channel, everyone. This is the Reluctant Gringo back again with another video. As many of you know, I am an original Star Wars fan who was lucky enough to see the original film in the theater back in 1977. As a little boy in the United States, I was caught up in Star Wars mania, especially the toys. Kenner's Star Wars toy line is still the greatest toy line ever created. Yes, there are better designed toys that came out later in the 80s and 90s, but for what Kenner's Star Wars toy line did was offer a revolution in merchandising and boys' toy lines. With that, I wanted to present to you my top 10 list of the must-have and best vintage Star Wars vehicles from the Kenner's 1970s to 1980s toy line. As always, you will have your own opinion, and I would love to hear about it in the comments section below. What was your favorite Star Wars vehicle? And I know it sounds annoying, but if you could please hit the like button and subscribe for future content. The channel is growing faster than I could ever imagine, and I thank you all for that. And with that, let's begin. Number 10. Luke's Landspeeder. Kenner's vintage Landspeeder toy, released in 1978, is a cherished piece of Star Wars memorabilia and one of the original vehicles ever released by Kenner. This toy is a detailed replica of the famous vehicle featured in the original Star Wars film. Made from sturdy plastic, the Landspeeder measures approximately 6 inches in length, making it a perfect match for the action figures from the same Kenner Star Wars toy line. One of the standout features of this toy is its innovative design. It includes a concealed front wheel mechanism, allowing the Landspeeder to appear as if it's hovering, while rolling smoothly across different surfaces. This replicates the vehicle's characteristic movement seen in a movie as Luke races across the deserts of Tatooine. It's a faithful reproduction. The toy's surface features realistic textures, and it includes a space for an action figure to sit at the controls and one to ride shotgun. As well, there is ample space for C-3PO and R2-D2 to ride the back like they did in the film. The vintage Landspeeder toy is part of the original Kenner line that has been praised for its role in popularizing Star Wars merchandise. Whether you're a Star Wars aficionado or a toy collector, this vintage Landspeeder is a nostalgic piece of the galaxy far, far away. Number 9. The Imperial Shuttle. The Kenner Vintage Imperial Shuttle, released in 1984, has become a beloved piece of Star Wars memorabilia. The toy is a faithful recreation of the Imperial Shuttle seen in The Return of the Jedi. The shuttle measures around 20 inches in wingspan, making it a substantial addition to the Kenner Star Wars toy line. The toy is designed to accommodate multiple action figures, allowing fans to recreate opening scenes from the movie, such as the arrival of the Emperor. It boasts a rotating wings mechanism that mimics the shuttle's folding wings as seen in the films, and this feature adds an element of playability to the toy and authenticity. The shuttle toy also features detailed decals and markings that capture the look of the Imperial craft, furthering its authenticity. It even includes a ramp for action figures to board the shuttle, and so this toy quickly became a sought-after collectible, appealing to both Star Wars enthusiasts and toy collectors. Its large size and attention to detail set it apart from many other Star Wars toys of its time. Kenner's Vintage Imperial Shuttle is a classic piece of Star Wars history, and whether you're reliving the classic Star Wars moments or adding to your own collection, this Vintage Imperial Shuttle remains a symbol of the Star Wars galaxy's grandeur and the enduring appeal of the franchise. Number 8. The YWing Fighter. Kenner's vintage YWing Fighter toy was introduced in 1983, and this is a reproduction of the Rebel Alliance's YWing Starfighter from the original Star Wars trilogy, first seen in the Rebel Alliance's assault on the first Death Star. The YWing Fighter measures approximately 16 inches in length, making it another substantial addition to the Kenner Star Wars toy line. It is designed to accommodate multiple action figures, allowing fans to recreate epic space battles from the films. One of the standout features of this toy is its realistic design. The YWing Fighter boasts retractable landing gear, an opening cockpit, and rotating laser turrets. These features provide a high level of playability. The Kenner Vintage YWing Fighter toy also includes removable engine compartments that reveal the inner workings of the Starfighter, giving it an authentic and dynamic appearance. This toy quickly became a sought-after collectible, appealing to both Star Wars enthusiasts and the toy collecting community. Its detailed design and interactive features set it apart as one of the most impressive vehicles in the Kenner toy line. And that attention to detail, interactivity, and its role in the Star Wars mythos have made it a necessary piece for any vintage collector. Whether you're recreating epic space battles, such as the Battle of Yavin, or the Battle of the Moon over Endor, or adding to your own Star Wars collection, the vintage YWing Fighter remains a powerful symbol of the Rebel Alliance's fight for freedom. Number 7. The Scout Walker, otherwise known as the Allterrain Scout Transport. Kenner's Vintage Scout Walker, released in 1982, is a replica of the ATST, or All-Terrain Scout Transport, from the original Star Wars trilogy, initially being seen briefly in the Battle of Hoth and more prominently featured in the Battle of Endor. The Scout Walker stands about 9 inches tall, and it is designed to accommodate certain action figures such as an Imperial Commander or an ATST driver. One of the most notable features of this toy is its interactive design. The Scout Walker features movable legs and a rotating head and a locking mechanism so it can be posed in various positions, as well as movable turrets on the side of its head and under its chin. And by pressing a button, you can make its legs appear to walk as you charge ahead towards rebel encampments. The Kenner Vintage Scout Walker toy boasts amazing details, including decals and markings that mimic the look of the Imperial vehicle from the movie. It is a perfect piece to accompany your AT-AT or speeder bikes, and whether you're recreating scenes from the Battle of Endor or adding to your own collection, this Vintage Scout Walker remains a symbol of the Galactic Empire's might and military power. Number 6. The Imperial TIE Fighter. Kenner's Imperial TIE Fighter, introduced in 1978, is one of the most iconic pieces of Star Wars memorabilia. This is a faithful replica of the Imperial TIE Fighter seen in the original trilogy, and the TIE Fighter measures approximately 9 inches in width and is a must-have for collectors and fans. And when paired with an Imperial TIE Fighter pilot action figure, you can recreate multiple space battles from the original trilogy. One of the most outstanding features of the toy is its design. The TIE Fighter has a cockpit with a clear plastic dome and features the distinctive TIE Fighter color scheme and Imperial insignias. It also includes a spring action button that pops the TIE Fighter's wings off to simulate battle damage, as well as a button that lights up the laser turrets when pressed, emitting a distinct firing sound. The Imperial TIE Fighter toy is a classic piece of Star Wars history where maybe no other vehicle represents the Empire in the same way. Its meticulous attention to detail and its interactive features helped make Kenner's original Star Wars line massively popular and unique for the time. It became a must-have for kids who needed an Imperial ship to battle against either Luke's X-Wing or Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon. To this day, the TIE Fighter stands as the enduring symbol of the Galactic Empire's might as the most powerful armada in the galaxy. Number 5. The Rebel Armored Snowspeeder. Kenner's vintage Rebel Armored Snowspeeder toy, introduced in 1980, is a replica of the Rebel Alliance's Snowspeeder from the Battle of Hoth in the opening third of The Empire Strikes Back. Measuring approximately 15 inches in length, it is designed for 2 action figures, enabling fans to recreate the Rebels' desperate attempt to ward off the Empire as they tried to retreat from the Hoth system. The Snowspeeder has opening cockpit windows and a retractable harpoon and tow cable, mirroring the key elements seen in the Hoth battle against the Empire's mighty Imperial walkers. The vintage Rebel Armored Snowspeeder toy is beautifully detailed, featuring authentic Rebel Alliance markings and decals, as well as front turrets light up and oscillate to simulate battle. Part speeder, part fighter, and part tank. This trapezoidal-shaped vehicle is one of the more unique designs from the Star Wars universe, which only adds to its allure. So whether you're a Rebel pilot out scouting the planet of Hoth or Luke engaging an Imperial walker, the Rebel Armored Snowspeeder has definitively earned a spot on this list. Number 4. The Rebel XWing Fighter. Kenner's vintage X-Wing Fighter, released in 1978, is a faithful replica of the Rebel Alliance's X-Wing Starfighter, arguably one of the most iconic space vehicles in the history of all film, not just from the original Star Wars trilogy. The Rebel X-Wing Fighter measures approximately 12 inches in length, making it another substantial addition to the Kenner Star Wars toy line. It is designed to accommodate Luke in his X-Wing pilot gear, giving fans an opportunity to recreate scenes from throughout the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, especially the assault on the Death Star. The X-Wing Fighter features retractable landing gear, an R2-D2 figure built into the back of the canopy, and removable laser cannons on wings that opened and closed depending on whether you were in battle or about to jump to hyperspace. As well, powered by batteries, it featured a small button that, when pressed, lit up the nose red and released the sound of laser cannons firing on the enemy. The vintage Rebel X-Wing Fighter toy is meticulously designed, capturing the iconic X-Wing design, complete with Rebel Alliance markings and decals. This toy quickly became a bestseller as every kid wanted to be Luke Skywalker, firing off the fatal shot that finally brought an end to the looming threat of the first Death Star. Easily one of the most sought-after collectibles, its combination of detail and interactive features and its pivotal role in the Star Wars lore made it a must-have piece. The X-Wing Fighter stands as a symbol of the Rebel Alliance's heroism, and if you had a friend with a TIE Fighter and you had an X-Wing, you could spend hours lost in your own imagination. Number 3. Slave 1. Kenner's vintage Slave 1, introduced in 1981, is a reproduction of the bounty hunter Boba Fett's ship from The Empire Strikes Back. It is obvious that one of the coolest characters in the franchise would get one of the coolest vehicles, and Slave One is to Boba what the Millennium Falcon is to Han Solo. They are inseparable to the core of their identity. Measuring around 12 inches in length, one of the standout features of this toy is its gravity design. Depending on how you position the vehicle, the wings and the inner cockpit would rotate exactly as it did in the film. Slave One also includes an opening ramp and a recreation of Han Solo frozen in carbonite that could be placed into the cargo hold, exactly as it was at the end of The Empire Strikes Back. Also featuring rotating cannons, the most friendly feature of this vehicle was the built-in handle that allowed kids to hold the ship in midair and simulate battle and movement. Slave One is one of the most unique vehicles from the vintage Kenner offering. Slave One is not just a vehicle, but part of Boba Fett's legacy as a character, both in the original trilogy, his new television series, and the expanded universe as a whole. There's only one Slave One, making it a symbol of cunning and fear, just the right fit for a person of Boba Fett's reputation. Number 2. All-Terrain Armored Transport, or AT-AT. Kenner's vintage AT-AT toy, introduced in 1981, is the recreation of the all-terrain armored transport walker from The Empire Strikes Back and the Battle of Hoth. The AT-AT stands approximately 18 inches tall, making it one of the largest and most impressive additions to the Kenner Star Wars toy line. It is designed to accommodate several action figures, allowing fans to use it as a vehicle and a playset. The AT-AT has articulated legs with jointed knees and ankles, allowing it to be posed in various lifelike stances. It also includes a head that can be rotated and laser cannons that light up and move when activated, in addition to the movable turrets on either side of its head. The body of the walker has a large compartment that can house multiple action figures, adding to the immersive play experience as one stages a ground assault from the base of the walker. The Imperial Walker was one of those vehicles from the Star Wars universe that set you apart from other fans. To have this vehicle was a statement in and of itself. It's big, and it's impressive as 80s toys were concerned. Once you had one in your collection, it was the first vehicle to come out of your toy box and the last to be put away. It is a vintage collectible. It is a cherished item of childhood. It is a symbol of not only Imperial might, but also the unbridled fandom of little kids everywhere. Number 1. The Millennium Falcon.
What a piece of junk!
Kenner's vintage Millennium Falcon toy, introduced in 1979, is the iconic Star Wars vehicle and maybe the most iconic spaceship in all of film and pop culture history. This toy is a fan favorite recreation of the Millennium Falcon, the legendary spaceship piloted by Han Solo and Chewbacca in the original Star Wars trilogy. The Falcon measures approximately 20 inches in length, making it one of the largest and most impressive additions to this Kenner Star Wars toy line. And one of the most remarkable features of this toy is its interior and interactive design. The Falcon's top opens up to reveal the ship's interior, complete with a hollow chest table, a gunner station, a secret smuggling compartment. It has a battle alert action sound, folding landing gears, folding entrance ramp, an opening cockpit, a practice remote ball, revolving radar dish, and a clicking laser turret gun with a seat. The Kenner Vintage Falcon toy is rich in detail, featuring the iconic Corellian YT-1300 light freighter design, complete with sensor dish and exterior markings, and like the AT-AT, this vehicle can act as a spaceship or a playset because of its size and many playability options it offers. Han and Leia can be placed in the cockpit. Luke and Obi-Wan can practice lightsaber skills with the remote practice ball. C-3PO and Chewbacca can have a game of holo chess, while Luke can sit in the gunner's chair blasting away at Imperial TIE Fighters. And that is just the beginning. Next to the AT-AT, the Millennium Falcon is the Star Wars toy. No matter how much you have in your collection, no matter what rarities you have found in yard sales or in eBay auctions, if you do not have this ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, you don't have a complete Star Wars collection. The ultimate space pirate and coolest character in the galaxy has, of course, the greatest and most iconic space vehicle, the Millennium Falcon. And that's my list. What do you think? Do you have a favorite Star Wars vehicle? And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, I would appreciate you hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and clicking on the thumbnails for my top 10 Star Wars action figures and top 10 Star Wars playsets of all time. As always, I appreciate you for watching. Until next time, I am the Reluctant Gringo, and from south of the border, salute and a huevo.